So my presentation is called Belarusian Bible Translations and the Process of the Formation of European National Cultures. It is not a major area of my academic interests, but it's one of the major areas of my social interests, because for now I'm involved in the preparing of a new Belarusian academic Bible translation, which is quite a hard job to do. And Carolina is present here, is one of my colleagues and supporters in this job. And while working on the Bible translations, I discovered a couple of very interesting things, which are quite rarely mentioned, speaking about the Bible influence on our culture. And so I'll try to see a couple of things on my own, and then you can ask me questions. So, Bible translations and the culture-making phenomenon. So you see, I will not talk about the Bible and the culture-making phenomenon, but about the Bible translations. The Bible in Europe. The Bible makes the foundation of the three major religious systems which have contributed to the modern Western civilization, that is, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Christianity has been a principal factor in the formation of European civilization, including its identities, value system, politics, economy, culture, social structure, etc. As the foundational text of Christianity, the Bible has become the major unifying text of Europe. Since the very beginning, Christianity adopted the Hebrew Bible in the Septuagint version. This was a translation into Greek made in Alexandria during the 3rd, 1st centuries BC. Thus, the Christian Bible is essentially a translated Bible. Western Europe received the Bible in its Latin version called the Vulgate, the Common. This translation was made in the 4th century, and during the 9th, 2nd centuries spread across Europe and, in fact, consolidated the Christendom. In the Eastern and Southern Europe, the Bible has also been known in translations.
I was asked if you could just attach it here, it will pick it up very well. Pick up it louder.
Can you hear me like this? Okay. So this could be. Is it okay with sound? No, I don't. That's this way will be better. Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So proceed further. Now, translation of the Bible into many languages during the 1st centuries of Christianity influenced the development of writing in these languages. Some languages have become written only because of the translation of the Bible into them. So, a couple of examples. The Gothic version, the 4th century. The Bishop of the Goths, Ulfila, created the Gothic alphabet for the translation of the Bible into Gothic. It was based on the Greek alphabet with some admixture of Latin and Runic letters. The Gothic Bible is the first substantial text in Germanic languages. Here you can see one of the famous codices of the 5th century, and Ulfila's translation established much of the Germanic vocabulary that is still in use today, while the alphabet is not. The situation in Armenia, Armenian bishop Mishrov Mashtots invented the Armenian alphabet for the translation of the Bible into Armenian language, and Mithrov's alphabet is still in use today. The Georgian alphabet was created in the early 5th century for the translation of the Bible into Georgian language, and the alphabet is still in use today. In the 9th century, two brothers from the Greek Thessalonica, St. Cyril and Methodius, created the Slavonic script for the translation of the Bible into Slavonic language of the Great Moravia and Bulgaria. Another situation is in modern culture, the Bible and the formation of the modern national cultures. The Bible at the time of the Renaissance and the Reformation. So there are a couple of important issues to put attention on. The Renaissance has liberated national cultures and writing. The Reformation has liberated the Bible, meaning that the Bible has become available to a much wider audience than before, when it was just an ecclesiastical affair. At that time, the Bible in the original languages, Hebrew and Greek, has been rediscovered. Most of the standard written European languages, as we know them today, did not exist prior to the 16th century. Translation of the Bible into vernacular languages influenced the development of the literary tradition in these languages. Most of the printed Bible translations of the 16th and 17th centuries played a tremendous part in consolidating national cultures. They promoted not only writing in vernacular languages, but also national thinking. National Bibles often became a focal point of new national identities. Pre-Reformational printed translations, this is what we are interested in mostly. Before Luther's Reformation, which brought increased interest in Bible translations, only 4 cultures had their printed versions. German, the first translation was done in 1466, and then many other translations. The only Italian translations in 1471. A couple of Czech translations, the first made in 1488, and the Belarusian translation, started in 1570. Pre-Lutheran German Bibles. This is the most overwhelming story about the Bible translations. About 1,000 manuscripts of medieval German Bible translations are extant now, which is an absolutely amazing thing. And in 1466, Johannes Mentelin printed in Strasbourg a Bible in High German. In the late 15th century, several Bible translations into various Low German dialects were printed. In total, there were at least 18 complete German Bible editions, 90 editions of the Gospels, and 14 Psalters by the time Luther first published his own New Testament translation. Martin Luther's Bible is considered the most important and influential text in German language. Along with Lutheran Church, this translation has become the foundation for the formation of German national identity. Czech Ardennes, the Czech language was the next one who received the Bible. And Czech literary tradition itself is linked to medieval translations of different biblical books made from Vulgate. The Bible of Dresden, made in 1370, was the first complete Bible in Czech, so this is before printing. Jan Hus, a pre-Reformation priest and philosopher who died at 1415, considered the Bible in the tongue of the common people an important point of his Reformation. The first complete printed Bible in Czech was published in Prague in 1488. The next 2 editions were issued at Kutna Hora in 1489 and in Venice in 1506. The Venice Bible seems to be the model for Francis Scarina's Belarusian Bible of 1517-1519. The Bible of Kralice, during the second half of the 16th century, members of the Bohemian Brethren translated the Bible from the original language into Czech. This translation, known as the Biblia Kralicka, or Bible of Kralic, is the most popular Czech biblical translation, in its influence being similar to that of the King James Version into the English-speaking world. Francis Scarina, Belarusian Bible, so as I said already, this year celebrated the 500th anniversary of the Belarusian Bible. And now a word about culture-making significance of Scarina's work. Francis Scarina dated his first Prague edition, the 6th of August, 1517, on the Feast of Transfiguration, thereby making a statement to the public of his time about the transformative significance of his work. He formulated the main purpose of his Bible as to the honor of God and to the good education of the common people. Here you can see the books published in Prague during this first 2 years of his public activities, 4 books in 1517 and 9 books in 1518 and further 11 books of 1519 and the page of the Prague edition. Then Skarina moved to Grand Duchy of Lithuania, to Vilna, and continued his editing activities. And what about Bible translation? He again published at Sultan with a different title in 1522, and in 1525 he published the Act of Apostles, the Apostle, which is the only New Testament translation done by Skarina. English printed translations. This you see, the year of Skarina's last publication was also the year of the first printed translation into English. William Tyndale was burned at the stake in Belgium for his religious views, including bringing the Bible to the common people. His last words, according to the legends, were, "Lord, open the King of England's eyes." Between 1525 and 1534, Tyndale published his translations of the New Testament and some books from the Old Testament, made from the original languages. His work has had a great impact on English language. The year Tyndale's work was finished, Luther's Bible was published. In 1611, already in the 17th century, the first complete Bible translation into English was published in London. The work was commissioned by King and completed by Timos Paulus. In 2011, the English-speaking world celebrated the 400th anniversary of the most influential Bible translation into English, and many said that this was the most influential text in English. Then the story continues. Later Belarusian translation, the change of course. One of the major political, cultural, and religious Belarusian figures of the 16th century, Nikolai Radziwiłł the Black, tried to make Calvinism a national religion. He commissioned a new Bible translation to the best scholars available. However, the first complete Bible translation published in Belarus was done into Polish. A Protestant preacher, Jacek Lucian, translated the New Testament and printed it in Königsberg, and finished in 1552. And Nikolai Radziwiłł the Black ordered the Old Testament translation, which was completed in 6 years in Pinchov, and published the complete Bible at Bierstia in 1563. The translation was made from Hebrew with the use of different ancient versions, so it was a very, very high quality translation, but the impact on the culture was extremely low. Because as the reaction to the Protestant translation, the Polish Catholics made several new attempts. The most important was the work by a Jesuit, Jakub Wujek. Wujek criticized the Bierstia Bible for multiple heresies and errors of the translation. He translated the New Testament and published at Krakow in 1593. And then after Wujek's death in 1599, the whole translation depended on the Vulgate appeared. Wujek's Bible was the most influential Polish version until the Millennium Bible published in the middle of the 20th century. The language of the translation has become the standard Polish literary language. And what happened to the Belarusian translations later? So at the end of the 16th century, Stefan Zizani published a fragment of the Gospel, and the translation into Belarusian was done from the Jakub Wujek's Polish Bible. And this was a very well-known and influential, many times reprinted edition. So the Skarina translation was not counted. The translation, which I didn't mention, made in 1570 of the 2.5 Gospels by Vasily Tyapinsky were not counted. The new translation was done from the Polish Bible. The same happened with Miletius preaching material with some fragments of translated Gospels, and again translation was done from the Williams Polish Bible. And then we know the 16 books from the Old Testament in the 7th century, and the translation also was done from the Williams Polish Bible. Belarusian Bible in the 20th, 21st centuries, since the beginning of the 20th century, some 50 translations, or rather attempts at translation of various books from both Testaments have been made. There are 3 complete Bibles published in 1973, 2002, and 2012, yet none of these works could be considered as a proper modern Belarusian Bible. Some of the translations depended on either Polish or Russian versions, while others were made in the language not in use today. There is still a cultural and social need for a new translation of the Bible into Belarusian, because the lack of an adequate national Bible results in the lack of a modern cultural and national identity, and the reintegration of the culture into the European civilization requires that the culture receives the main text of this civilization. That's it.